always nice to come to Gyeonggi province and admire the scenery, but we've got a special excuse for doing so. Moving out of our Seoul city centre base to come and test drive the brand new Hyundai IONIQ 5. It is a celebrity in the automotive world. We've been talking about it for months, and finally here I can touch it and see it and share the experience with you. So hope you're going to enjoy the ride. We're going to have a special tour. They are saying this is a car that's going to change the industry, a new paradigm for EVs, future of mobility, etc. Let's see if the reality matches the hype. When I look here, there's no mirror. It's a camera and a tablet device inside. They call these digital side mirrors, and the handle's popped out for me. I just give it a little pull, easy enough, but I'm getting the sense that this car, while it looks like a car with a kind of different vibe, concept car almost on the exterior, definitely very futuristic, and obviously everything in the EV sphere is going to be slightly different in its own sense for people who are used to riding gasoline cars like I am, or diesel vehicles. We've got some of the great Hyundai features in this too, like all the safety features that will keep me in the lane. I've got smart cruise control if I want it, augmented reality for the navigation. But then you've got on top of that the IONIQ 5's unique design. Loads more space than you would imagine looking at what is effectively a compact SUV from the outside, but the numbers suggest actually this isn't quite a compact SUV. 300 centimeters or 3 meters wheelbase, which is actually longer than Hyundai's Palisade. So it gives me much more legroom automatically when I sit down here. Would give my passengers a lot of legroom as well if they were in the back. So yeah, some of my initial thoughts are this is sleek, it's stylish in its own way. It has some of the typical Hyundai features that a lot of people have grown to love on the Genesis all the way down to the all-new Avante, some of the electronic and safety smart sense features and the climate control in the cabin. But all that's left for doing right now is to actually start driving and see what it's like. So I'll see you when we go and charge up in a bit. And now we are in action. Right. The range says 231 kilometers. I am in eco mode, I think. Now I'm in normal mode, and it says 225 kilometers. And in sport mode, 218. And I get a bit of acceleration. Nice. I heard this is a quick car off the mark, and let's just make a bit of space between us and the car in front and have a go and see for ourselves. That's quite fast. Like I felt my own, my body was pushed back into the seat. It had that kind of vibe to it. Okay, good. Right, back into eco mode, and we're back up to a range of 231 kilometers, 55% on the battery. We are on our way to a charging station because the whole point of this experience today is to see what it's like on a regular use. It's cool how I can use the handling feature that automatically keeps you in your lane. Now that's not unique to the IONIQ 5, but I love the fact that all the features, all the best features which you'd find on the other Hyundai models, they're all here, but you get extras. So for example, all the materials used in this car are eco-friendly and they feel nice. They don't feel maybe super luxurious, but they feel premium. And you've got these mini tablets which are part of the digital side mirrors. So, I mean, they're not mirrors at all. It's just a camera instead of a mirror, and you get a display. Now, I'm looking over my shoulder. I don't need to. I could just trust my digital side mirror, but it's just a force of habit. I just feel more comfortable looking at my mirror. If I use this as my daily driver, I'm sure I would get used to the idea. This is not something that comes with all of the IONIQ 5 models though. In Korea we got two, the exclusive and the prestige. I've seen, I mean generally with Hyundai cars around the world there are some international differences. Just slight differences, not necessarily something that would dramatically change the experience, but I can tell you that in Korea it's only on the prestige version the more expensive version, that you get this digital side mirror. While some of the extra features are kind of, you could live without them when you're making those choices on the trim, I think this side mirror experience, that could become a must-have for me. I feel like this is super intuitive, this car. Like, what I mean by that is, this car has a sense that, you know, when smartphones went from being a fairly simple smartphone, like right out of the whole my phone is a brick era, to I've got a screen which is a touch screen smartphone. It went from that to like the Apple model with something a lot more futuristic feeling and a lot more intuitive, but you're still basically dealing with a touch screen. I feel like this car is the equivalent of that. Everything is intuitive and easy to use, but there are some very new, innovative, well-designed features like these digital side mirrors, and that gives me the impression that I'm having a brand new experience, but I'm not having to think about it too much. I'm not like, oh, I've got to relearn how to drive a car. Definitely a short or very shallow learning curve to this. Headroom's good, seats comfortable, so much space. I could definitely be a chauffeur in this, in the sense that my passengers would feel like they had luxurious amounts of space in the back. And I do think there's versatility in this car, because you could have a full family feeling very comfortable here, but you could make this your single person commute and perhaps feel less guilty about it being an EV. Now, the turning circle on this is, I don't feel totally comfortable yet with the length of the car. It is actually a nice riding height, and I have a good sense of, it's not like when you get in one of those cars and you feel like you've got lots of blind spots. I feel like I've got great visibility even without the tech features. The thing is, this is a longer car than you would expect. It's also much longer wheelbase. Longer even than a Hyundai Palisade, which is really surprising at 3 meters. And if I just take my hands off the wheel here, you can see how smoothly it turns itself. It's a really nice lane assist technology they have in this car. The wheel is controlling itself. Now that we're in the dark, you can see the illumination around the speakers. If you can see the Bose speakers down here, they are surrounded by a ring of glow, a blue glow, and on that side as well. It's quite subtle, but it's another one of those features that just elevates the experience slightly. We've been treated to a little break here. This isn't our charging station. This is a vision of glamping, camping in a glamorous style in Gyeonggi province, and it's beautiful. The surroundings of Namyangju with water. We've got the camping setup around the IONIQ 5 EV. You'll have to trust me, there is a car behind us. The seats have been flattened, and what makes the IONIQ 5 so practical for the purpose, because a lot of cars can flatten their seats, is that you can actually use it to plug in appliances and that sort of thing, so you can use it as a power source wherever you decide to go camping. That's really interesting. Just a place to recharge myself as well before we take off again. So we're going to go through toll gate now. It's a high pass toll gate. You got the built-in high pass system. To anyone watching in Korea, they're not going to be remotely amazed by that, because it's a feature that you can have built into pretty much any car. I think what they've done with the IONIQ 5, to try to sum up, is they've taken the best of Hyundai's other features, they've packaged them into this in an eco-friendly way, maintaining a premium feel without going over the top with the luxury. They've maximized space in a car that certainly from the outside doesn't to me look like an SUV. Doesn't exactly look like a hatchback either, but once you're on the inside, it definitely has something like an SUV feel. And with a difference, because it's much wider than many cars you will drive, and there's much more interior space. That's a big win. Another thing that I've noticed is just how many charging stations there are actually. Whilst I don't notice them while I'm driving, if I look on the navigation, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like within the vicinity, without having to drive off too far, I could easily charge up. And that's what we're going to do very soon. So I don't have to worry about fuel getting on my hands. So I press the touchpad to make it go down. So I could practice that and get the hang of it. I needed a little help there just to make sure that I had the right height and that it was all plugged in. We have more than 10% in here right now. I think we got down to about 40% battery, something like that. But if you were down at 10%, you could use a fast charger like this with Hyundai's own charging system, which is part of the reason that both this and the Kia EV6 are so special. They've got this fast charging capability. We'll probably only use about 10 minutes worth and we'll be good to go again. But if we were down to 10%, we could get up to 80% in just 18 minutes. This is clearly something very different from Hyundai, but it does have some typically Hyundai features. One of them is this zigzag type, these grooves that run all the way along the side. You look at the wheels. On the Prestige model, you have 20-inch alloys. There is a 19-inch alloy version as well. This is the 20-inch, and you can see it's like a jewel, one of the most decadent features on this vehicle. And in fact, it's the wheels that are so distinctive. And without these fancy camera shutter style wheel arches, it's kind of plain but futuristic. From side on, you start to see that 1970s Hyundai Pony look, but from this angle where we're looking at now, it looks more like the compact SUV look. One more feature to mention on the exterior, both front and back, the lighting is so different. In some ways, it reminds me of a retro digital look. Let's have a look inside. This is all very convenient. Loads of little cubby holes and space. Something I'd seen in the promotional materials. I want to have a chance to check out. Yeah, this is a bin that slides right out rather than just opening up. All the seats are really modern and electric as I'm just feeling myself coaxed into relaxation here. That's one option, just put the seat right back. Let's have a look at the back seats. Has an automated feature as well. Not quite as many options as the front seats, but I can move it forward or backwards as I please. I'm going to go back again just to show you how much legroom I've got. Now I've got fairly long legs. I am just shy of 190 centimeters, so that might give you an idea of just how much legroom there is here. I mean, I am not used to really being in any car, any ordinary sedan or SUV or hatchback, take your pick. I'm not used to having this much space between me and the driver's seat. Not to mention the headroom. I mean, it does dip down behind my head, so it might look from where you're looking like I haven't got as much headroom as I really have, but because the ceiling comes up in front of me, I have the illusion of space almost. We can open it up as a panoramic roof, of course, as well, but right now it's in charging mode, so we're just letting it be. So look at all the other IONIQ 5s around us, and when you look straight on at the silver ones, it really, to me, it brings out this squared off, edgy feel to it that makes the back of the car so different to the rounded front. It's a car of many sides. It's a car with, I want to say, multiple personalities in the most positive way, because the interior has the comforts of home, and the exterior is both a throwback and it's a forward look. And I'm excited to see where they go next with their EV technology. Let's head back to the main center. So it's been fun, definitely. This is at least towards the future of mobility. It's safe, a lot of safety features there that you're finding increasingly on vehicles today, but you've got this vision of design that allows us to start to imagine cars as places of relaxation, lounges, if you like, with potential for autonomous driving going forward. And this is another step in that direction. It also has some interesting design elements. I wouldn't say that I find all of those design elements beautiful, but they are futuristic and they're not unattractive either. They're just a little bit outlandish in places, and I'm feeling like I'm looking at a different car when I look at the reverse to the front. Where it really shines for me, and where I felt extremely comfortable all afternoon today, was the interior. Space was fantastic, the materials are pleasant, even very comfortable. The infotainment system is top notch, and if you said to me you're going to be driving an IONIQ 5 for the next 5 years, I'd have absolutely no complaints at all. I probably won't be in the next 5 years, but I wouldn't be surprised if all of us are driving something very much like this in the decade and so to come, because we've been told this is the future, a new paradigm, and surrounded by IONIQ 5 models as we are in this facility, I think I can believe it.